Hi, I'm Jeff Desmarais, and welcome to the very first episode of the Revolutionaries. This podcast is also coinciding with the 250th birthday of the United States of America, which is typically something, an anniversary like that, a birthday like that is something that we all are very excited about and celebrate. But this year, I know a lot of people out there feel not too celebratory. Because we see a lot of problems with our country. We see a lot of things that are concerning us, not just today, but for the future as well. And so this show, The Revolutionaries, is going to be about addressing both of those things, both what's going on right now and what we can do, the steps we can take to improve things for the future. And that is, I think, something that needs to be discussed not just by people who are progressives, but people who are liberals, people who have different perspectives, so that we can all kind of understand what needs to be done. But one thing that's for sure is that what we've been doing cannot continue, not just what we've been doing over the last 8 to 10 years, but what we have been doing for a much longer period of time than that. It's time to reevaluate where we are as a country and what we need to do going forward. Now, who am I? I'm just kind of a regular person. I'm a financial advisor by profession. I got involved in politics 10 years ago after Donald Trump won his race. I decided that it was time for me to try to do something, to be a part of the conversation, to do my part, to push back against that and to build out a future that is good for everybody. And so I ran for office several times, different state offices, state rep once, state senate 3 times. I'm running in the state of Connecticut, which is a blue state, but I am in the reddest part of a blue state. So I didn't win any of those races. But that's all right, because what it did was allowed me to find my voice and allowed me to hear your voice. And so I had a better perspective about not only how I viewed things, but how you did as well, and what we need to do kind of to go forward. So I decided, instead of running again this year, to put together a podcast, a show that can discuss these issues and to put a vision of the future that's coherent and understandable and positive together. And get the input not just from my hosts who will be here after this segment, but from you as well, because I want to hear from you. I want to know what you think we should do. I want to see what your vision of the future is. It's been 250 years since our founding, and we have a lot in our country to be proud of, and we also have a lot we didn't get right, a lot of things we didn't do well. But that's okay, because we should learn from those things. And I think that refounding our country is the first step to making a better country. So that's what the Revolutionaries is about. This is episode number 1. So if it seems a little bit stiff or a little bit not ready for prime time, that's okay, because we're learning. And I think as this episode unfolds, you'll see that it gets better and better, and the conversations become very, very informative. We'll be having guests on as well. And so when we have those guests, these are going to be people that are either in politics or specialists in particular fields that we're going to talk about, like education or urban development or something, any number of different subjects. And I think it'll be exciting conversations. It'll be informative conversations, and they're important conversations. So strap in, get ready. Here is episode 1 of the Revolutionaries. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I wanted to introduce you to my 2 co-hosts before we start our show, because this is being the first episode of the Revolutionaries, you probably want to know who's going to be here. So we have Tina and we have Shannon, and so I'll let them introduce themselves to you.
Hi, I'm Tina Duryea. I am an artist and I am an activist. I am born and raised in Connecticut, and I've been very involved in politics for the past 10 years, ever since Donald Trump came down that escalator. And I got involved in local, state, and national politics, and I do a lot of stuff on social media as well.
And I'm Shannon Riley. I am a New York, Connecticut flip-flopper. I've lived on the state border my entire life. I am a high school teacher in New York, but I am also a DTC chair in Connecticut. I got involved in politics right around the same time that Tina did. I was sitting around getting really annoyed and thought, you know what, I better put my money where my mouth is. If I'm going to complain about it, I better get involved. And since then, I've just been, plugging along, trying to get Democrats elected.
Well, thank you guys for coming on the show and actually being part of the show, because as I was saying, they are co-hosts. So we're all in this together, just like we're in it with you here. So this is the beginning, I think, of a very long-running show. And so we're very excited about this entire process. So we're going to kind of go right into it. So basically, as I was mentioning in the opening, the reason why the show exists is to talk about not just where we are, which is in a bad place, but where we can go, where we need to go, how do we get there, all of that. And so to start off, given the fact that this weekend is the 250th birthday of the United States of America, something we all, I think, would really want to celebrate, but a lot of us are not feeling too celebratory. I think this is a good time to kind of look back, see how we got to the point where we became a republic, and maybe how that may be a bit of an inspiration, maybe a blueprint for where we can go. So one of the things we would talk about, of course, is how we need to refound our democracy. So if we keep doing what we're doing, things aren't going to go well. So I think looking at our systems of checks and balances, we just saw the Supreme Court obviously has been giving more and more power to the president. I think one of the things we have to look into is checks and balances, not just having a system, but like putting firewalls in place.
Yeah. I mean, every American, child learns about checks and balances during middle school. We all sit there, we have three, why can't I think of the word? Three
branches of
the government.
Yeah.
Three branches of the government.
Yeah.
You have the,
I don't think the president knows about those
he
either,
has
so don't
no
worry about
idea.
that.
I don't know what they were teaching at the New York Military School, but it certainly wasn't actual American history.
Gotta have bone spurs.
But, we all sit here and, think about how we came from a tyrannical, system of, the British kind of, controlling everything and, taxation without representation. And then our founding fathers, actually, really sat there and thought and fought with each other, about what is our new country going to look like. Mm-hmm. And they made sure that, no one branch of government could be more powerful and take over, because tyranny was something that was very real to them after they were coming out of that revolution, and they wanted to make sure that that never ever happened again.
Right.
And now here we are.
And I would say that the founding fathers, they never thought that one of those co-equal branches of government would just willingly cede their power to another one. And so what we're seeing right now in terms of what's happening with our branches of government is that Congress has basically given Donald Trump all their power, and the Supreme Court's giving them a lot of the power. And so there's no checks and balances on this guy. And as you were saying, rightly so, when we had the actual revolution, it took a long time to get to the point where we actually were in a revolution, because initially the colonies were very happy to be colonies. And so by the time we actually got to the point where we were fighting, and then we got the other side, they knew that they had to be intentional. And I think a lot of us or a lot of people in government are just not very intentional about thinking about the structures and the systems that are broken right now. And that's what we need to change.
Yeah, I think a lot of what's happened here is that, MAGA or Trump or however you want to call it, it's sort of shown everybody like the man behind the curtain, if you will. Like, it's shown all of these flaws in this system. And I don't think it's a scenario where you can say, okay, well, let's go patchwork this up and, let's cover over the cracks and hope everything goes better. I think that's where the idea of like refounding is concerned, because some people considered after the Civil War, that was sort of like a second founding, as they kind of call it, kind of a small S, a second founding. I think we'd need more of a capital S. But, that's, I think, a lot of what we're talking about here is that when the founders, when they broke away, when they declared their independence, okay, and this is 250 years ago, and for 250 years, we've been able to be a democracy of sorts for most of that time, becoming more democratic and more free as time has gone on, because we didn't start out that way, certainly. We had just, adult white male landowners that were able to vote, and the franchise has opened since with a lot of work. But we're seeing now that the system can be manipulated. It is not perfect. And at some point, you have to look at it and say, this isn't working anymore.
It was never supposed to be perfect, though. Like, as we talked about earlier, Thomas Jefferson said we needed to have sort of a revolution every, I think, 40 years. And I think he more meant a reinvention.
Yeah.
And in defense of the Founding Fathers and mothers who are often written out of history, let's be very clear. But they had no blueprints. The last time there had been democracies was, in Greece, like 1,000 years before or something like that. So they were basically just inventing things and like, we have no idea what the fuck we're doing. And now when we have a chance to reinvent our government, which we are going to have that chance, I truly believe that, we're going to have a lot of data that we can look at and say, this worked here, that worked there, this didn't work. And we'll actually be in a much better position to reinvent our government this time than the first time when we were basically like, we don't know what we're doing.
Well, that's what I think, we'll talk about constitutional conventions, right? And the idea then, 1789 or 1787, when they had the Constitutional Convention, in fact, that was not even fully done because they had to go back and do the Bill of Rights, okay? So even then, it wasn't quite finished when they finished it in 1787. And along those lines, a constitutional convention for the 21st century now, to take an account of everything that's happened, as you say, we have all of this information, we have all of these points. At what point do we say, okay, now maybe we have to really make serious changes to the Constitution?
I'm just gonna, segue here. I know that a constitutional convention is scary for, a certain demographic of people, like union members especially. Where I work, New York was about to open up their constitution, and our union fought against it because there has to be trust in government in order for us to agree that the people that are going to be there making those decisions, because it's going to be lawmakers. We are a democratic republic. We elect people in order to make decisions for us. But we have to actually trust these people.
Yeah.
And now that's really hard.
Yeah.
When you're watching people that you thought would have your best interest at hand, handing over power to someone who literally does not have anyone but his own interest at the forefront.
I think too, we're looking at the Supreme Court itself. The Supreme Court is 9 unelected people with lifetime appointments. They're there as long as they want to be there, And they've been essentially legislating from the bench, telling us what is now constitutional, what is now not constitutional, but they're like taking precedent. So just the other day, we had the birthright citizenship that was upheld, but it was barely upheld.
Yeah.
Okay, because it wasn't really 6-3. It was more like 5-4. It was 6-3
and a half.
Yeah, right. And it shouldn't have even been close. It should not have been close. It should have been a 9-0 because it's written in the Constitution very specifically, and it's like saying, you know what, we're just not going to listen to that.
I saw a really funny meme about it where it said the birthright citizenship is written in the Constitution, but the number of Supreme Court justices is not.
That's right.
And we could,
right.
and it's something we could do to reform our government would be to expand the court. A lot of people talk about it.
Yeah, right. I think that's probably important to do that. I think that we need to have more representation in terms of different viewpoints on the court. There's 13, if I remember correctly, there's 13 circuit courts in the United States. Why don't we have 13 Supreme Court justices
it's supposed
and
to be that
rotate
way.
them out
I'm not
few
ready
years?
to open up the number of judges until we're over this presidency.
No, I get what you're saying. Yeah, because if we do that, all of a sudden,
if we do that, we're going to get more of the same. We don't need another Clarence Thomas. We really don't.
No. Or Samuel. Well,
there's also another issue, which is term limits for Supreme Court justices, and I'm willing to agree that they should be very long terms, 20 years I'd be fine with, but at some point you've got to say enough is enough, and not have it be something like the person dies or the person is too sick to continue. Occasionally someone retires, but it should be like you get 20 years and then you're out of here.
Yeah, or even go less. You could take people from one of the ideas I had about all that was to take the circuit court. You put somebody in to the Supreme Court, and you allow them to be there, serve there, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is, and then they go back to being on the circuit court, rather than, just that they have this lifetime appointment. It's sort of like, okay, it's your turn, now you come out, and then, you have to appoint them, but it's not forever. Look, this is something, again, this is what this show is going to be about. It's going to be about putting these ideas together and to work on them. So, this is sort of just kind of a beginning of all of this, and we're going to keep, visiting a lot of these things. So we'll go from there, but we have some more to come, so we'll be right back. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. So I'm sure for you very keen observers out there, you might have noticed a canine friend of ours walking around here during the last segment. And I think it's only fair to introduce you, or to have her owner introduce you to her. So now she's a little camera shy.
Camera shy.
Now she's being camera shy.
She's like, no, I don't want to. So this is Bonnie. She is my 7-year-old service dog, and she goes with me everywhere. And she just wanders around, making a nuisance.
So if you see her around here, walking around, that's what she's supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And so she's sort of our show mascot, and every show should have a mascot of some kind. Because if it wasn't going to be Bonnie, it was probably going to be me, and I don't think you guys want me as a mascot. So.
Not as cute.
Not at all. Not at all. Even my wife would agree with that. So, okay, so we were talking before about the 250, the history of everything that has kind of been happening at that time, and the parallels we're beginning to read about our current time, and looking at the sort of things that are holding us back in terms of making this, a functional democracy. And one of these things I think that is really problematic that we have here is the fact that we have a two-party system, and only a two-party system. I'm as I mentioned in the opening, I'm a chair of my local Democratic Party. So I'm sure they will be thrilled to hear me say that I'm not a big fan of the two-party system. I don't think two-party system effectively represents people. And I think it ultimately actually can become more damaging because it polarizes us far deeper than a better party type system than we have right now. Shannon is also a local party chair.
I am a local party chair
for the Democratic Party, and again,
and I'm on the DTC.
And Tina's on the DTC. So
we'll out ourselves as Democrats here.
Yes. I don't think anybody watching probably is too shocked to hear this,
no.
But
we are part of the party establishment, and the fact that we're arguing against the party establishment,
right.
I think, is actually an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, right now with the Democratic Party, like what we're watching in our neighboring New York, what's happening with the Democratic Socialists that are getting the Democratic endorsement is actually really interesting. I mean, before I became involved in the DTC, I actually considered being a Democratic Socialist, but like I wanted to make sure that I could vote in those primaries. So I was like, okay, like you're definitely going to be a Democrat. Like, I mean, when I registered in high school, like I was going to be a Democrat. My mom was a Democrat. Like that's, that's what I wanted to be. But like the more that I thought about it, I was like, I really like, socialist, like programs. Like I like the fact that like we have safety nets for people, that we have public infrastructure, that we have public schools, those types of things. Like that's socialism. And people, I know socialism is a bad
it's a four-letter word in politics.
It's a bad word, but like when you have a government that works for you and that like uses your tax dollars to create programming that benefits the masses, that's, it really depends upon who's in power and who's in charge of those things. Because like I am 100% like, acknowledging that like there could be an abuse of power when you get the wrong type of person who's in charge of those things that can, weaponize, public programs against the population. But, if you have checks and balances, like we were just talking about in the last segment, and they actually work, then you can have good programs that like, benefit people. But that's just
I would say like, and I think that because I feel like people get hung up on the word socialism, and we were talking about the idea of socially responsible capitalism. Yes. I saw somebody refer to it as the Nordic system the other day, and somebody who my mother was Danish. I've spent a large part of my life in Denmark, and I remember I'm not saying I'm an expert in any way, shape, or form on the topic, but I have a better understanding of the Nordic system than I'd say the average American. And the Nordic system actually relies heavily on capitalism. And Denmark is regularly ranked one of the best countries in the world to do business in. And I think that when you explain social safety programs through that lens, it might be more easy for Americans who are afraid of the word socialism to understand, because you need a thriving economy if you want to have robust social programs.
Exactly.
And that's what the Nordic model is. And yes, it's socialist, it's democratic socialism, or you could say socially responsible capitalism, or you call it the Nordic system, whatever you want to call it. We're just saying that we're not against businesses. We just want to we want to harness our incredible economy to help people.
Exactly.
We've heard all this time about how capitalism and socialism are supposedly, counter to each other, that they're not compatible. But I've always thought that was bullshit, and I'll tell you the reason why. And you guys are hitting right on the same subject, is that I think they both, if done properly, complement each other very, very well. Okay? Because at the one point, you want to be able to grow your economy. Capitalism has been proven to be the best economic system for economic growth, okay? Because you allow people to invest, you allow people to profit from their work, but that's also where socialism can come in, that the positive sides of it, which allows to make sure that people who can't or are unable to or are struggling or just everybody else in terms of like healthcare, for example. Everyone is worried about being able to pay their medical bills now. I mean, health insurance is higher cost now than it has ever been. And medical care is higher cost now than it's ever been. And people are not going to have the care they need. And the reason is because it's too expensive. You have insurance companies saying, we won't pay for this, we won't pay for that, we won't do this. And there's too many exclusions. There's too many high deductibles. There's too much out-of-pocket expense. And people are making choices between paying their mortgage or their rent or putting food on the table and paying for, I got to go to the doctor, especially for their kids.
Yeah.
And we don't need to do that. We don't need to do that.
I will say that I don't actually think that the United States is capitalism at all. What we are is actually a welfare state for corporations.
Yes.
Because the government is using all of their power to
bail out banks.
Like the fact that we, welfare, like Walmart, right? Mm-hmm. Walmart doesn't pay their people enough money, so they have to rely on government subsidies in order to have a livable wage. So the government is subsidizing Walmart. Walmart is one of the biggest corporations in the world. That's bananas.
I mean, look at SpaceX and Tesla. Okay, I mean they are completely basically underwritten by the U.S. government.
Oh yeah.
Okay, they are their valuations are out of whack, and it's because of taxpayer money. Really is what's behind that. Taxpayer money and vibes, and that's it. And a big mouth fascist Nazi in Elon Musk. Okay.
How many days was he a trillionaire or something?
He could even be again today for all I know. But the point is that the fact that we have that situation, the term late stage capitalism is applied by quite a few people about it. I think you're almost at end stage at this point because you don't see any rationality between what is happening in the moneyed economy, in the corporatocracy economy, and with people in their homes because they can't afford basic things. That is a failure of not just an economic system, that's a failure of a governmental system because our system, our government currently facilitates this.
Yeah.
It either actively helps this or turns a blind eye to it.
Am I allowed to mention a book? So I and forgive me, I've forgotten now the author's name. She's amazing. I love her. Vulture Capitalism. Mm-hmm. She talks about how corporations are treated as people. And governments are afraid of corporations. Corporations hold governments hostage by saying we are not going to provide, whatever their goods or services are if you don't, make this decision for this bill that benefits us. And you need strong politicians who can stand up and say,
there you go.
You know what?
Yeah.
I need to weigh the benefits of what you're asking versus the consequences to the public. And we don't have that right now. I mean, we know that sugar is bad, but sugar has a lobby. They're very powerful, government lobbyists. Yeah. And we, have people who are just okay, that's fine. Or when we're talking about energy and stuff like that, in Connecticut, we are held hostage by having only two energy, companies. And we cannot, negotiate with them properly where our governor just has to do what they say. Otherwise they're going to be okay, we're going to stop sending you as much power as we do.
Which is, part of it is I don't know if this is really what we were talking about, but campaign finance reform, the fact that we have, a House of Representatives that is, maybe not the right size. The Senate has way too much power. The Senate gives an inordinate amount of power to states like Wyoming that has, less people than Fairfield County, I believe. And so I think when we're talking about reforming the government, we have to also talk about reforming what it looks like. And so does the House of Representatives stay the same? Does the Senate stay the same? Do we change districts? Do we choose, and some of that needs to come down to what you're talking about in terms of the power of the purse, the power of the corporations and influencing these people. That comes back down to campaign finance reform because if you have to, I just ran for state rep and I did the Citizens Election Program, which is in Connecticut. It's a fantastic program. And, I only had to raise $7,000, right?
Yep.
Ballpark. I have a friend who is a state rep in Washington State. Guess how much she had to raise for her election? This state rep in Washington State.
How much?
$400.
Yeah.
$200,000.
$200,000.
Yeah, just for one
for a state rep seat.
For a state rep seat. Yeah. That's what and so, like, I mean, and she did it and she won, but, like, it's like, that's insanity.
Yeah, no, I can't imagine having to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Like, how much was the grant after?
40,000, like, just around 40,000.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No, it's
wow.
So the money in politics is absurd.
Yeah.
And, the thing is that we can make all the laws, campaign finance laws have been attempted, and all that, but that fucking Supreme Court is going to come right in and is going to undo the whole thing. And they've done that over and over and over again with everything that you put out there. They've gutted the Voting Rights Act, so that tells you if they're going to go after that, which is something John Roberts has wanted to do for a very, very, long time, and he was able to do it. The fact is that we can't just rely on looking at legislative solutions to these problems that are going to result in laws passed by Congress, though those are the starting points. But you have to find a way to make this stuff permanent. I really have concerns that a far-right court, which we've already got, I really believe this, if they get a challenge to, say, Social Security or Medicare, that they would throw that out. That if they really get a stiff challenge to the Civil Rights Act, they did it to the Voting Rights Act. Why wouldn't they do it to the Civil Rights Act? There's no reason to think they wouldn't.
Get rid of the 19th Amendment while you're at it.
We barely hung on to birthright citizenship. I'm
actually kind of shocked that they haven't gone after Social Security.
I just think it hasn't gotten to them yet.
When you think about it, if you're thinking about every time that a Republican has been in office, there's always been Social Security, it's going to run out, and we're never going to have it, and we've got to, and it's been crickets about it. And not that I want to encourage them, but I'm just
well, I think that's because it's a third rail thing too. If they take away Social Security, you're going to have a whole lot of people very angry, particularly people that are collecting it. Because if you're getting rid of it, you're not just saying, well, we're not going to withhold from you, or this future generation's not going to get it. Anyone who's getting it would stop getting it. But I don't put anything past them to do. That's my point.
But the thing is, with Social Security, they're not going to go after it straight on. What they've done is they've gutted the Social Security office, so if you're already collecting Social Security and everything's fine, it'll just continue to chug along okay. But if you've talked to anybody who has either tried to sign up or had an issue with Social Security, they cannot reach anybody to fix it. So they are going after Social Security. They're just doing it in a sneaky way.
Yeah.
And that's why having representation that isn't just representing two parties, where you have, right now we have a very far right-wing party that would be considered far right, I think, anywhere in the world, from any political perspective in the world. And we have a center-right party, generally speaking, in the Democratic Party.
I disagree with this. First of all, okay, I'm going to jump in here.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
That's all right, go ahead.
So I hate the dichotomy of left-right. Okay,
I'm not a fan of it either.
Because here's the thing: is
about that,
going back to Denmark, right? You have Mette Frederiksen is the prime minister. She's been the prime minister for 8 years. She just won another term. She is a democratic socialist. But the thing is if you looked at all of her political beliefs, some of them would be far to the left, and some of them would actually be fairly centrist, maybe even a little bit right wing. And so and I always say this is when people are are you a left wing, are you a right wing, are you a progressive, are you this, that, or the other thing? I'm it depends on the topic.
Yeah.
And it's sort of so that's why I just kind of reject the labels.
Tina does not like the
I don't like
cringes
labels
a little bit on the left-right stuff.
But the thing is, and I think that
I do agree.
To your point that I think we were talking about offline was that do we two-party system? The two-party system does not give people enough choices.
Yeah.
And I think we all kind of agreed that we would not be necessarily Democrats if there was a better alternative that fit us better.
Yeah. I think that's true.
Yeah. I kind of want to go back. I mean, we were founded as a democratic republic. And a republic means that you elect people that are going to represent you. And I think the founding fathers did that because of how uneducated the masses were at that time. The greater population of America at that time did not have the same education that Americans today have. And I kind of wonder, like, if we could experiment and just go, do away with that, and everybody goes back to kind of like a
direct democracy,
where like there's like the town, the town.
I'd only hesitate on that for one thing, and that is that we've seen since the 80s the systematic dismantling of public education, defunding of the Department of Education. In Connecticut, where we're at right now, and in the Northeast, where you teach in New York, it's different than other parts of the country where education has really been undermined significantly. And I think that we have to reach a point where the understanding of civics and information is better. We could get to a point where that is feasible, but I just think right now it might be too difficult. And that's kind of what angers me about the whole dismantling of education. Because one of the cornerstones of a democracy, of a functional constitutional republic, for those of you out there who believe that we're not a democracy, we're a republic, it's the same thing, okay? just get over yourselves. Go open up a civics book, for goodness sake, all right? But the fact is that you do need an informed electorate to make decisions, even if it's to appoint and elect your representation. You have to at least have a general understanding of the major issues. You don't have to know every little thing. You don't have to know the name of a Supreme Court case, or you don't have to know, even the names of the members of the Supreme Court, though that would be very helpful, everyone. But you do need to know the general things that are going on and how to critically analyze those things. At least enough people have to be able to do that.
People don't want to be bothered. I mean, honestly, people don't like, and I don't even care how well educated you are. And I will say this, like, the idea of a direct democracy, I love the idea in theory, but there are no countries in the world that have direct democracy. The closest is Switzerland, and even they have representative government, but they also have, when they have their elections, you get a little book that you're supposed to read. But they still have electeds who do the majority of the work. And we even do have direct democracy here when we have referendums, like we recently had the ability to vote on early voting. And so that was direct democracy. So I do think, though, people like to say we do not have direct democracy in the United States, but we do, just limited. So I do love the idea in theory.
I mean, I think that it really what it comes down to, even if you're talking about whether it's direct democracy or whether you're talking about representative democracy, and particularly, I guess, in the theme of representative democracy, is that a representation that we elect are people that actually reflect what's in the best interest of the people. And this is why I think when we look about refounding our democracy, it is reorienting our intentions towards that end, towards saying we're going to represent the people, we're going to fight for the people, we're going to stand for what's right for people, we're going to be a bulwark against excessive power. So that's an important context that has to be understood in all this too. But we have more episodes to come. So we have a lot of this is just kind of a
this is our introduction.
We're gonna have episodes that are about these individual subjects, and we're gonna have folks coming on that are experts in their field that will be able to talk about that. We'll have a lot of special guests that are going to be coming on over the next several weeks and months. So, but when we come back, we have a little bit of a treat for those of you who want to know us a little bit better. And so stick around. We'll be right back. And now we're going to have the hardest hitting segment of our show. And the one has created the most consternation and hand-wringing, which is our 5 favorites. So this is a segment we're actually going to do with our guests, too, when they come on. And we're going to ask their favorite movie, TV show, book, song, or piece of music, and finally, comfort food. So I'm going to start with Shannon.
Oh, God.
So she's going to have to now, the spotlight's on her. They're over here.
Spotlight's on me.
So, Shannon, what is your favorite movie?
So my favorite movie is actually The Boondock Saints.
Okay.
Do you know that one?
Yep.
So, yeah, 2 Irish brothers take on the mafia and basically, they become vigilantes. They find their long-lost father. It's great. It's great.
That's cool.
Okay.
That's cool. TV show.
All right, so this one goes back to like me being like a kid. My dad's from Wales, but it's called Keeping Up Appearances.
My mom loved that show.
Right? Like it's so it's adorable. Like there's this, you know, woman, Hyacinth Bouquet. Her actual last name is Bucket, but like, you know, she has to be, you know, hoity-toity, and she's Bouquet. But yeah, like I love that show.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I saw that back in those days too.
Yep.
Yeah. Favorite book.
So I read too much to actually have a favorite book, but like right now, the genre I'm on is, you know, smut, but that's fine because we all need something to just get through the day with all the, you know, nonsense.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So smut. Okay.
Smut. There we go.
Favorite song or piece of music?
So, favorite song, and I actually listen to this every single day before I go to work, and it's so embarrassing, but Killing in the Name of by Rage Against the Machine.
Yes!
Like,
that was actually a song I was thinking about doing for our opening.
So,
but you don't have rights for it.
I just need that angry energy to, like, prep myself to, like, get it out before, like, I go into the classroom, and then I can put on...
Wait. You put this on before you go into school?
Before I go into school.
What grade are you teaching again?
I teach high school.
Okay, so you do need that song.
I do need the song.
Yes,
and like I get it all out before I go to school, and then like I can be like, you know, nice Mrs. Riley. Like
So wait, if one of the kids say "fuck you, I won't do what you tell me," then what do you do?
I'm such a millennial. I'd probably be like,
yeah, okay,
like
okay.
sure, like okay, you get that out. But you know, now you're going to go down to the principal's office.
All right, yeah. Just play it with a good guitar riff. And the last one is comfort food.
Oh, so I can't even eat my favorite comfort food anymore because I know. Well, I'm allergic to red meat now.
Oh.
But my favorite comfort food is actually cheese fries with brown gravy. So I'm looking for a place that's going to make those cheese fries with turkey gravy because if it flies or swims, I can eat it.
That's a poutine, right?
It's like poutine, but it's not poutine because it's not the actual cheese curds.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's like just cheese.
Just melted cheese on top of it. Like it's a very New Rochelle thing. Like
I'll take it either way.
Yeah, we call them disco fries.
I'll take that either way.
So does it need to be a brown gravy?
It doesn't necessarily need to be a brown gravy, but like I'm not going to make this at home.
You're not going to make it because I got a recipe that I could actually give you.
No.
Okay.
I do not cook.
Okay, all right, never mind.
Me either.
Never mind.
I'm like,
I was trying to come up with a solution.
Yes. Nope. So like I just kind of like, I'm like, it's good. Like I can just eat regular fries with, you know, Heinz ketchup and be fine.
Well, but go. You just got to find it. Just go buy some and go.
I do have to find it. Yes.
Now, Tina, it's your turn.
Okay, so what are we starting with?
So I'm going to start with movies. Okay,
so it's kind of a hybrid, which is Star Wars: A New Hope, and then Star Wars: A Force Awakens. And I want to say why, because when I was really little, you know, I saw A New Hope, and I remember watching the movie and being like, oh my God, I love Luke, and I love Leia, and I wish Leia had the hero's journey that Luke had. I remember thinking that as a little kid. And so when I watched Force Awakens, it was the kind of my childhood dream scene in reality. Yeah. When, you know, Rey gets the lightsaber, like I literally cried. So,
that's cool. That is very cool.
So,
I saw The Force Awakens, I think 5 times in the theater.
I think I did the same,
yeah. I saw Return of the Jedi 7 times, so that ages me too. Favorite TV show?
So I'm an artist, and so when I'm working, I don't watch a lot of TV to watch TV, but what I like to have is TV on in the background, so while I'm working. So it's more of a genre, which is crime procedures, because they're all basically the same show over and over and over again. So I can kind of have it on and have one part of my brain paying attention while I'm actually painting, and that's what I like to watch.
No, yeah. I like CSI and
Criminal Minds was a favorite. It's incredibly gruesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I am somehow.
Murder, She Wrote.
Bones was another good one.
Bones
was a good one.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Favorite book?
So I very much like Shannon, I like to read escapist things because the world is shit, and so I would like to not live in the world when I'm reading a book. I less smut, more about like fantasy. I love that stuff. There's a series that I come back to again and again by a woman named Vanessa Nelson called The 100. It's a 6-book series, and basically it follows a woman who, kind of goes through like a personal growth. But there's magic and there's sword fighting and there's a little bit of romance, but not too much, and it's just got everything in it.
No, cool.
Yeah.
Favorite song or piece of music?
I would say right now, and of course, music tends to be depending on where you are in your life, but Beyonce, Freedom. It's it's a little bit like after 2016, Fight Song was sort of what carried me through, because that was Hillary's song. And right now, it's sort of like, I'm still holding on to that Kamala energy. and I loved Freedom even before it was Kamala's song. So it's definitely just one of my favorites right now.
Cool.
Yeah.
And finally, comfort food.
Anything that's pasta.
Any pasta. Okay.
We're carb girls.
Yeah, I'm largely vegetarian. I'm not a purist, but I do not eat meat really at all. Yeah. So now I guess we have to grill you.
No, I guess it's my turn. Okay.
Yeah. So no, you're not allowed. We're going to ask you.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
So favorite movie, Jeff?
So my favorite movie. It's changed a few times over the years, but the last few years it's Casablanca.
Oh, wow. I haven't seen that in a long time.
Oh, I love that movie. There's a particular scene in that movie where they're we're in Rick's Cafe, and the Nazis are singing their song.
And then they sing La Marseillaise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I could watch that scene 1,000 times.
Yeah.
It's because what's so powerful about it is that at the time the movie was being made, the war was going on and nobody knew how it was going to turn out. Yeah. And a lot of those people that were in the cast were refugees from France. And so for them it was the emotions you see are genuine, are real emotions. But anyway, I love that movie. It's got so many great lines. The performances are awesome. It's just sublime. I love it. Okay,
so your favorite song?
My favorite song is Hey Jude by the Beatles. It's a great song. I love it because not only I like the lyrics and I just like it because I'm a huge Beatles fan, but also how it starts out really simple. It just starts out with McCartney's vocal at the Hey Jude, and then you hear the piano, and then it picks up more instrumentation. It goes along, and then it goes to its big long chorus. You hear the instrumentation getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I dig it. It's a great song.
Yep. All right. Favorite book?
My favorite book, I kind of read I like to read for information, but for me that's also escapist in a lot of its ways too. So I read a lot of history and a lot of biography. I think I'd have to say it is Ron Chernow's book, Grant.
Okay.
It's a biography of Grant, but I would also rank right with it. It's a good companion to it is Grant's memoir, personal memoir, which is really excellent. And it changed my view. I didn't really change it. It just sort of reinforced my view of Ulysses S. Grant. It was a fantastic human being.
Okay, so favorite TV show?
Favorite TV show, and if my kids are watching this, they already know this answer. Because I've watched the show through about 6 or 7 times. It's Breaking Bad. Okay. I could watch that show anytime. I don't care. I love it. It's the people in it, the characters in it are almost all terrible. Except for the kids. Like the kids are, there's his son who's a good-hearted kid, and the daughter, of course, she's just a little kid.
Yeah.
Everybody else is some level of piece of shit. But you know what?
Heartwarming.
That's what makes it so great. It's like they're very complicated, complex characters. I love that.
Yeah. All right, and then your favorite comfort food?
My wife Joanna's scalloped potatoes.
Oh.
Yeah. My mom made scalloped potatoes when I was a kid, and that was my favorite. Then my wife started making scalloped potatoes. She makes it a little bit differently. And don't tell my mom, but I kind of prefer Joanna's.
Joanna wins.
She wins. So, yeah, those are my 5. And so, that we're going to talk whenever we talk to somebody. We're going to end the show on asking them their 5, and if you want to put your 5, if there's comments that you want to put in there and put your 5, if you're also saying we're crazy socialists and all that stuff, but if you want to just drop your 5 favorites, that's great too, So, because we like to hear from you about all of this, what we've talked about, ideas you might have for things, topics we can discuss over the course of the show. So, thank you very much for joining us. I want to thank Tina and Shannon for being here, of course. And happy birthday to America. Hopefully 251 is going to be better than 250, and hopefully they get better from here on out. So if you don't feel like celebrating this weekend, if you're feeling like, it's not so great, there's one last little thing I want to say, and it's about America, about our flag, about all of that stuff. I know people have been saying, they feel like the flag doesn't really... It sort of represents MAGA and Trump and all that stuff. And they see an American flag, that's almost a red flag for some people. And I just want to say, take this opportunity this year, 250. If you've got a flag, fly it. Fly it high. Because that flag doesn't belong to MAGA. It doesn't belong to Trump, certainly. It's America's flag. America. It's our flag. Okay, we have our flag right here, the little bunting here, but we got a flag over there. I'm putting up a flagpole in front of my house before we get to the 4th of July, provided that I don't melt outside first. But it's our flag. Yeah. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Mm-hmm. Fly that thing proudly, because it is not only all the wonderful stuff we heard in high school history and civics, how great it is, but it's all the struggles that everybody put down, whether it's civil rights or whether it's women's rights or whether it's LGBTQ plus rights or whatever it is. Every single thing that has been a part of what we are as Americans is represented in that flag, and that flag is ours, it is yours, and don't ever forget that. So anyway, that's the end of our first episode, and we'll see you in the next episode.